Hi, my name is Kevin Hammerker, and today I'm going to give y'all an informative speech on a job description. And this job description is going to be tile laying. Well, to start out, I'm going to start with a quote, and it is, "Perfection is the child of time," by Joseph Hall. Alrighty, today, tile laying, the first job description is practically what they do is lay tile, like what's in kitchen floors, bathroom floors. They're usually in laundry floors, but to get started on this, the reason I'm giving the speech over it is because my dad, that's what he does for a living. But he does a little bit of tile work and general construction, but mostly tile work. Tile work is practically, it just depends on how experienced you are to about how much you get paid. Tile work, it usually takes about a 3-day process to get started. What you do, you go out to give an estimate of how much you're going to do, so you figure out all your materials and stuff. And then that first day, you go get all your materials for the job. Well, secondly, after you get all your materials, get the estimate and everything, you go back and you lay the tile. To lay tile, you have to have what's called mortar or grout, or not grout, but mortar, and it's like a mud. You mix water in, and it's what holds the tile to the floor. And then you mix that up, you go get your tile, and you lay all your whole pieces that you can, and when you get to a corner or something, of course, you have to make a cut. When you make a cut, you just pit it down around the corner. You just got to be careful about not breaking the tile off. And every tile you lay, you have to put something called a spacer in it. The spacer keeps it separated so you can have a grout line and it all ain't crowded together. Well, once you put the spacers and everything, you just keep moving along to the floor. And once you finish, you gotta let the tile sit for about 24 hours. Because if you don't let it sit for 24 hours, then the mud or mortar is not gonna hold up and the tiles will shift and sometimes break and they just won't work out. Well, after you finish laying it and everything, you gotta come back the last day after it sits for 24 hours and then you grout it. And grouts just gives it the color in between the tile. And you can mix really any grout color you want, but there's specific grout colors for specific tiles. It just depends on the color of the tile, how big the tile, everything like that. But when you're grouting, what you gotta do, you put all the grout in with like a trowel or something, and then you just wash over it with a sponge to clean it off the actual tile. Okay, next I'm gonna talk about like how their schedules and everything works, and then how to get good at the job, how to make more money and everything like that. Okay, with tiles, okay, what they do, they most of the time are working for themselves. They're independent. So they get to go in, decide when they want to work, but usually they work Monday through Friday, and most people will do grouting all at once on the weekends, just like a Saturday, and they'll have Sundays off. It just depends on how much you want to work, how much money you want to make, and how good you are at doing tile to get the jobs. And with people, there are people that work through companies. Like we used to work through a company in Huntsville called James Carpet. We just show up in the morning, we get our work orders, and we go do the job. And once we finish the job, that's how we get paid. We don't get paid by the hour or anything, we just get paid by the job. But usually if you hire help with like a crew or something, you're gonna add hourly pay into it. And usually starting out, you make about $10 an hour. But the better you get at doing tile, you make anywhere from $15 to $25 an hour if you get paid by the hour. But the big people is who makes the most money, because they get the money off the whole job and then they just pay their crew out of the paycheck they get. Last, I'm going to talk about is the pay, the actual pay of it. Usually a tile layer makes about $39,000 a year, and that's starting out. That ain't too much money, but that's enough to live on. And once they get good, they just start working up through their crew and getting experience from the people that they lay tile for, or usually they'll start out just cutting or grouting, doing simple stuff, or just carrying tile back to whoever's laying it. Well, when you're carrying it and stuff, you start picking up, you start watching and learning how it's laid, and then you usually have someone there to show you how it's done so you can start learning to do it yourself. Well, with that, the longer you do it, the more experience you have, so the better you get at it. With everything like that, it just depends of how fast a learner you are, how fast you're gonna get it, and everything. But most people, when you're starting out with grouting, that's the easiest thing to do, because you can just, as long as you can move a trowel over a piece of tile, you can grout. And then after that, you just put sponge on it like I was talking about earlier. But then the most experienced people are usually the ones who are in there laying the tile and sometimes cutting it, depending on the cuts, because there are hard cuts when laying tile. And practically that's all I have to say about tile laying. It's a good job. It just, however much you want to work, you can work. You just got to get good at it. Thank y'all and have a good day.